to BBBoxing. That's the one.
Good luck, bro. Kia ora team, welcome back to Big Boys Boxing for today's cruisy Monday boxing talks. I'm Jono, your host, and as per usual, let me get a few things sorted here before we get into it. First things first, I need to go and get into the Discord channel for the live panel. Boom, I am in there. And next, we need to post a link for anybody who may like to join. Pin that shizzle to the top so it don't get lost. Alright, so pretty interesting weekend of boxing. We had a few heavyweights in action, a couple that went under the radar. I didn't actually see myself. Was Hosea Stewart. He ended up with a late notice opponent. I was trying to get that dude into the prediction league around on Discord, but it was just too late for the announcement of the opponent. The opponent ended up being Franklin Ignatius, who was 4-0 at the time. Can't say I know the dude. I didn't see the fight, but Hosea Stewart ended up getting a draw. It was only a 4-rounder, and it was the referee scoring the fight. So, Hosea Stewart has, I think he's got commitment to the sport issues, you know. He came in at 344 pounds in his last fight against Phil Williams. Before that, he was 345. So he hasn't shown any type of commitment to the sport. There's no weights for this this fight he's just had against Franklin Ignatius, but if his weight ain't coming down, he just wants to punch people's face in for money. He's not really committed to the sport, so it is what it is. We also had Steve USSR Robinson in action as well. He was also in a 4-rounder, and he fought Phil Williams, who is the guy Hosea Stewart fought last, who was 4-36. So Steve Robinson managed to get a points decision, another one where the referee's doing the scoring. As we all know, Steve USSR Robinson had a loss against Shane Gill, beat him unexpectedly, but honestly, I don't think Steve Robinson's all that anyway. Never really stuck out to me as anything kind of special. So those two guys, lackluster performances against guys they should be smashing over. Mind you, Hosea Stewart's opponent, Franklin Ignatius, like I said, he was 4-0 at the time, but he fought 2 debutants, so we don't know how good he actually is. Just bringing up the profile. No, it's not freaking leading me. Come on. Let me in there. There we go. So yeah, Franklin Ignatius, his last fight was against a guy who was 4-35 with 1 draw. Like I said, it was Phil Williams, the guy who Steve Robinson fought. But before that, he fought a debutante. Before that, he fought a debutante. And his first professional fight was against a guy who was 2-21. So, you know, these guys with under 5 fights, they're not going to be fighting guys with winning records, or they shouldn't, as Steve Robertson found out against Shane Gill. Let me just double check that actually. With Shane Gill, did he have a winning record? Let's see. Yeah, he did have a winning record, but he was only 1-0. But from what I heard, he fought a lot of white collar fights before going full professional, so he had some experience. But yeah, it was what it was. Also on that card, we had Josh Kelly was the main event. He took on Lucas Bastida. Oh no, yeah, it was Lucas Bastida, Argentine, and he got the win, unanimous decision on that one. It's to be expected, really. Bastida, I think he's been stopped once prior, but Josh Kelly's never been a big puncher, so wasn't expecting a knockout in that one. There was Harlem Eubank as well. He had an opponent change. He was supposed to be fighting someone else. Can't remember off the top of my head. But he ended up fighting Elliot Chavez. And there was a disqualification in that fight in the 9th round. Apparently, I watched some of it. I wasn't really watching it intently. Yeah, I think it was low blows or some crap. He ended up a 9th round disqualification, and Harlem Eubank got that win. Pat McCormick was also on the card. He got a TKO win in the 1st round against Dimitri Trinell, who at the time was 8-1. And that's about all. Oh, of course. Oh no, it's a different card. Ben Marksby was also on the card, 4-0. He had a points decision over 6 win over, what's this dude's name? Rustam. Oh hell, Rustam. Fucked Kulu. FATKHULLIN. How do we say that? Fatkulin, I guess. It was 8-39. Not really worth mentioning too much about it. So that was that card. The other one in the UK was Chris Billam-Smith v Isaac Chamberlain. I was thinking on Isaac Chamberlain's best day he'd beat Chris Billam-Smith, but he's missing something out of his game. He was a slightly smaller man. Once he starts getting pushed around and bullied, he's got no answer for it. The first 6 rounds were really competitive. First 5 rounds were really competitive. Just give me a sec here, just bring up the card. Yeah, so the first few rounds were really competitive. It seemed like Billam-Smith was tiring. He seemed to take a round off. I think it was about in the 5th or the 5th. And I thought Chamberlain was going to start turning it on, but once Billam-Smith had his bit of a rest, he was using a lot of pushing, leaning forward and pushing with both arms, and then pushing Chamberlain back to the ropes, getting in close, making him uncomfortable, and he just had no answer for it. For the second half of the fight, it was pretty much all Billam-Smith, except in the last round there was a patch at the very end where it looked like Billam-Smith was hurt and Isaac was trying to get him out of there, but it was just too little too late, and Chris Billam-Smith took the win by decision. Yeah, it was what it was. This Joe Pigford fight I don't think I saw it. Wasn't really interested. I was switching between the Kelly card and the Billum Smith card, so I missed this Pigford fight. And I've been looking all week. This was a late opponent as well. Raphael King was trying to get this one into the prediction league as well, but it wasn't confirmed early enough, so I couldn't get it in there. But Joe Pigford got the TKO win in the 10th round. The one on this card that was quite spectacular was the professional debut of Olympic silver medalist light heavyweight Ben Whittaker. He was fighting Greg O'Neill. Was always expected to get the win. Most people were picking a first round knockout. I don't think he was actually trying to go for a knockout in the first round, unfortunately for many of us. But once he landed I think it was an overhand right. I'm not sure, right hook. He floored this O'Neill dude. He didn't get up, he was done. As soon as he hit the canvas, you could see he was done. So that was pretty quick work for Ben Whittaker in his professional debut. Right, so just quickly look over at the chat. And we got over here, we got Nordic Warrior. God bless, mate. Same to you, brother. Stephen in the house. Jono, what's up, brother? Or aka Mala. Good to have you in as always. Right, so was there anything else on that card worth yarning about? Let's see here. Just refresh my memory. We had Joe Pigford we mentioned. Michael Lavelle. Cruiserweights. I didn't see this one either. Excuse me. 15-0. He got the KO win in the second round of 8 against what's this dude's name? Crispulo Xavier. That must be how you say it. Crispulo Xavier Andino. Okay. Don't know the dude. Didn't see the fight. The dude was 22-12, so he was expected to lose. And he did. Stephen McKenna was also on the card at 154. He's 11-0. He got the TKO win in the second round of 8 over Fasunlo Alberto Rojas. I don't know the dude. Another one. What was his record? 6-5 with 1 year, so he's expected. Bit of a shit undercard on that one, really. Besides having Ben Whittaker on there, the undercard was pretty shit. So, over to the American card. Danny Garcia v Jose Ramirez. Bring that up so I can make sure I get all my facts straight. Of course, on this card we had the Adam Kovnarski and Ali Randamirizan fight, the heavyweight dust up. That was pretty entertaining. I mean, both of these guys always throw a lot of punches. So it was always going to be an entertaining fight between Kalnacki and Demirizan. Here's the card. That's the record. The card. Here we go. Another quick look at the chat before I get started on that. Where is it? chickadee chat. Nothing new. Sweet. Alright, so we'll start with the heavyweight fight, man. Adam Kovnarski coming in at 251 pounds. It's a little bit lighter weight for him, really, I guess, but it's still too heavy, really. Being 6'3", should be down around 240, 235, but you know, he's like the marshmallow man. And he's always been a train wreck waiting to happen. First, he got found out by Robert Helenius. Then he got found out again by Robert Helenius. Robert Helenius is a lot different fighter to most that Adam Kovnarski has faced. He never faced any real big punches. And Robert Helenius may have a lot of flaws, but one thing he does very well is he punches fucking hard. Alright, so Adam Kovnarski couldn't handle that power. Now, Ali Randamirizan is a fighter that has some similarities to Adam Kovnarski. He's usually a little bit overweight. He usually throws a lot of punches, but the difference is he's more accurate with his punches. He's defensively responsible, which is like an exact opposite of Adam Kovnarski. And I always knew this was going to be another beatdown for Adam Kovnarski. Adam did look like he was doing his normal thing in the first couple of rounds. Those first 2 rounds, you could have scored them either way. But once he figured out that he's not really landing a lot on Demirizan, and what he is landing ain't doing a lot of damage because Demirizan's blocking a lot of it, only taking the shots partially a lot. He's actually moving his head and getting out of the way of a lot of punches. Kovnarski discovered that, I'm going to get tired and this guy's going to keep coming. That's exactly what happened for the rest of the fight, except for, I think it was in round 8. Demirizan kind of took a bit of a round off, was trying to gather himself for a last push to the end. I think that's probably the clearest round you could give Kovnarski, is round 8. And then there was a little bit of a flurry at the end. It looked like Demirizan maybe got a little bit hurt at the end of the 12th round, but the last round was pretty entertaining. What did the judges score it? I think it was 117, 111 twice, and 116, 112 for the third. This new box rec is a real prick to navigate, I'll tell you. Here we go, here's the scores. Yeah, it was 93. Sorry, it was a 10 rounder, so it wasn't going to be 100s. 93, 97, 93, 97, 94, 96. All to Ali Randamirizan. I can understand the 93, 97. And I think that's still being generous to Adam Kovnarski. Personally, I scored the first round to Demirizan, the second round to Kovnarski, the 8th round to Kovnarski, and I was being nice on my stream, my live stream that I did, and gave Kovnarski the last round, but really I shouldn't have. So I can't see how this one judge gave Kovnarski 4 rounds in that fight. I thought 93, 97 was the best Kovnarski could have done. And like I said, I scored it 98, 92, with Kovnarski only winning the second round and the 8th round. Was my proper score if I wasn't being silly giving Kovnarski the last round. But like I said, that first round, I guess, could have gone either way as well. It was competitive, so yeah, Adam Kovnarski done at the top level. It sounds like he's going to retire, but he wants to have one more fight and a winnable fight for his fans to feel well on. Fair enough. I don't think Adam Kovnarski was ever going to have a long career. The way he fights, blocking punches with his face is not a good recipe for your brain. So, who should he fight in his final fight on the way out? I don't know. It'll be on PBC. Maybe he could fight Jermaine Franklin. Something like that. I think is winnable for him, maybe. And Franklin's unbeaten. But then, if he beats an unbeaten fighter on his way out, he's gonna want to keep fighting, isn't he? So, I don't know. Man. Stephen in the chat. Kalnacki needs to retire. Yeah, I agree. If he wants a farewell fight, he doesn't want to face a puncher, and he wants to face somebody who he can beat. I'm just trying to think of somebody suitable for that. I think even Jerry Forrester's a push too far. You know, it'd have to be somebody with a somewhat name recognition, so he can still make some money in his farewell fight. Few years left yet, you reckon? Gone Garuga, I don't know. Few years left, I don't know, man. The way he eats punches, his brain's going to be real damaged, I reckon. Easy peel in the house, good to have you in, bro. I agree, Kalnacki, the last round, to be honest. Yeah, well, I looked at that round, most of the round was Demir's, and there was the last 30 seconds, Kalnacki did something, and he was trying to do that throughout a lot of the later rounds. He was trying to put on 30 seconds of action. But realistically, 30 seconds of action don't win you a round unless you're hurting somebody, and he wasn't doing that. In the 12th round, maybe he did buzz Demir's in slightly, but yeah, I don't know. You could toss up that last round, I reckon. Iron Kong in the house. How are you today, bro?
Hey, all good, man. I just came to join in on the dunking on Adam Kawanaki.
Yeah, man. Did you see it coming, you reckon?
Yeah, man. Adam Kawanaki's a bum, man. I've been telling people this for a long time, man. I mean, I remember when Joshua lost to Ruiz. I had to watch these idiots on boxing. You'd say, man, Adam Kawanaki would have knocked Joshua out. I'd be like, well, Adam Kawanaki is as tailor-made for any heavy-hitting heavyweight that there is. He stands there with his chin high, and he throws punches, and he's just open to be hit. But I'm just saying, Adam Kawanaki is an example of hustling backwards. This man has turned down so much money just because someone told him to fight on the PBC. And each time he's turned down these big paydays, he's gotten spanked. How are you that stupid?
Yeah. I've seen a few people say the Adam Kovnarski of 4 or 5 years ago would have beaten the snot out of Alier Anthemirism. I tend to disagree with that as well, like you're saying, he's not a boxer. He's not defensively responsible. He blocks punches with his face and keeps coming. But if his volume in the first couple of rounds doesn't do something to his opponent, he's screwed. And like I was saying earlier in the stream too, the first proper puncher at a decent level he faced was Robert Helenius. I mean, Robert Helenius is no world beater, but he can punch. And when you're there to be hit for a puncher like that, we saw what happened. Twice! So, I mean, Demirozen's not a big puncher, but he's got a deep amateur background and he's defensively responsible. So that alone for me was enough to say, yep, Demirozen's going to win this one on points. So, I mean, Adam Kovnowski's entertaining. He's a scrapper, but he ain't no boxer and he ain't beaten no world beaters. Held to the no. Never was, never will. So that's what I got to say about that. But best of luck to Adam Kovnowski.
But where to now? I mean, I told somebody there on a back chat that I have on Google. I was like, if Joshua loses to Usyk, he should fight Kownacki for the comeback because that's an easy layup. You could just use him as a punching bag to come back. That's it. I mean, that's all Kownacki is good for now. You know, back then, if you watch how he fought, he just fought in volume. Helenius just fought him how you're supposed to fight somebody like Kownacki. Stay away, use your jab on him, move around the ring, box him around.
And then drop
That's
it
it.
on
And that's
Yeah, man. I think even Kownacki's would be too much of a easy comeback fight for any champion coming off a loss. You know, I think it's even a bit too low a level for that.
Imagine that though. Imagine how low he's falling that he's not even good enough for a tune-up, big boys. Imagine that.
No, that's right. I mean, I was trying to think of somebody who he can fight for, you know, like a farewell fight, because I'm pretty sure he's going to retire now, but he doesn't want to go out with a loss, so he wants a fight that he can win, possibly. But if he's going to try and make money out of it, the opponent's going to have some kind of name recognition. I was thinking maybe Jermaine Franklin, but if he beats Jermaine Franklin, then he's going to want to keep fighting, isn't he? Because Franklin's on
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
it's gonna encourage him.
Somebody maybe like a Shondell Winters, or I was thinking maybe Jerry Forrest, but Jerry Forrest might be a bit too. He might lose to Jerry as well. So, any suggestions?
No, I ain't got no suggestions. All I'm saying to Kownacki is, you allow them people to play you for a fool. You have a child that you told everybody about, and you allow them people to cheat you out of 2 big paydays because they're playing chess with your life and your boxing career. And you got spanked last night by somebody that, I didn't hear about, but you know, I'm not a hardcore boxing fan. I'm a casual. And you got spanked last night by a guy who wasn't even in any rankings. He wasn't in no. Is he in any rankings, big boys? He's not in no rankings.
He might be now, but I don't think he was. You know, but everybody looked at Demirozen pretty much as a Jugba leftover. I heard that term so many times around, but it's like these people didn't even watch that fight because that was competitive. Jugba and Ali ran Demirozen. Well, it was what it was, you know. Yeah, see you later to the Polish dumpling, and welcome to the Turkish dumpling. The Turkish dumpling's taking his place.
Oh man! So someone in here, Gorguruga asks Kownacki versus Lucas Brown. Who you got, big boys? Who you got?
Oh, that's actually a tough call. You know, I think Lucas Brown would get him. I think he'd do what he did against Fainga Apulu. He'd weather the storm, try and cover up. I don't think Kownacki's got enough power to do too much damage, to be honest. And I think Lucas Brown would get him once he tires. He'd knock him out. Because Lucas Brown could still punch. But, He doesn't have a good chin or anything, but he showed that he can weather a storm against... I don't know if you saw the Fainga Apulu fight that he fought a couple of fights ago. He was getting pieced up big time, but the other guy gassed out and Yeah, Lucas Brown just monstered him in about 8 rounds, I think it was. But that's not a bad shout, but keeping it real, Lucas Brown, he thinks he's back in the top 5 of the world at the moment after beating Junior Farr, so he'll be looking for a good money fight.
That's always the danger when people like Lucas Brown win a fight that they're not supposed to win, because now it's almost like, okay, you won a big fight, and it really does put you in a position to get a decent fight, but you really shouldn't, because you're really still shot. And but you probably fluked one out, and no, people are gonna be throwing money at you. But then Lucas Brown, you know what, man? Try to get a payday. I'm not gonna hate on you. I'm not gonna be mad at you. You want to end your career soon, and I say go and get your payday. Go ahead, man. Go ahead and get knocked out by one of these young boys.
Yeah, man. He's kind of earned it with the amount of times he's been smashed over. So, give him a payday. I think he's probably going to end up facing Dempsey McKean in Australia by the sounds of things. I don't think that'll be a big enough payday for what Lucas Brown's looking for, but we'll see. We'll see. If it's big enough, he'll take it, I guess. Yeah, and I guess we done ragging on Adam Kovnarski now, bro? Or you got some more to add?
Hey, listen, I could go all day, because I just always thought this dude is a bum. Why are people hyping this person? He fights with his chin in the air and just throws punches, and he just tries to overwhelm you. The problem is, after a while, people figure that out.
Yep.
Right? People figure it out.
Yeah. And those comments you were fielding of people saying Kovnarski would have beaten Joshua over. It's like,
oh my God,
that's some crazy ass shit.
I was watching, I was like, if you watch the fight, Joshua was doing fine with Ruiz. He got cocky and stupid, and he rushed it. Kovnarski is more textbook than Ruiz. He stands straight up. He's about as tall as Joshua, and that's who Joshua has the most success with. People who are just as big as him. Don't have to bend down. Don't have to do none of that. If you're straight in front of him, he's gonna knock you out. Kovnarski would be food. And all I'm saying to Joshua, I'm backing you to beat Usyk. You're my guy. I'm backing you. But if you lose, Kovnarski is a layup.
Yeah, he is indeed. My opinion, if Kovnarski had have been there instead of Ruiz in that first fight, he would have got stopped in maybe the second round. He's there to be hit. Ruiz ain't there to be hit.
Yeah, people would have shit all over it.
Yeah. And that would have been the end. There wouldn't have been no Charles Martin fight. There wouldn't have been no Chris Arreola fight. There wouldn't have been no Robert Helenius fight. There wouldn't have been no Ali Randamirazan fight. He might not have gotten in the ring again, because I think the knockout would have been that brutal. The way he stands there. It would have been bad,
but yeah. It would have been well paid.
It would have been, yeah.
It would have been very well paid. And he let his management, who apparently are working on behalf of PBC, not him. Your management's supposed to work on behalf of you, not the promoter or whatever. You let them people cheat you out of, Ruiz got like, what, $5-6 million? And they couldn't pay you that. And they cheated you out of that twice now. And you got spanked both times. And I think Steven is right. I don't think he would have gotten out of the first one with Anthony Joshua. And, people would have, man, look. All I'm saying to AJ, you lose against Usyk, my guy, no problem. I'm not going to just go and get a layup against Kovnarski, because I want to see that dude cleaned out. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Still feeling strong about that, even after he's been beaten 3 times in a row, bro.
You're not going to tell me this dude. Like, I used to be in real discussions. People would, no, man, Kovnarski would... No, I'm like, are y'all serious? Anthony Joshua would annihilate Adam Kovnarski. What y'all talking about?
Yeah, man.
I remember being in real, long discussions with these people, because they were happy when Joshua lost. I was like, I don't care if he lost. He would clean out Adam Kovnarski now. What?
Yeah, I agree.
It was a
I mean,
bum.
these guys jump on a loss and try and degrade.
Extrapolate that to all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
What?
Or because they like some other fighter that's a rival of his or something. But personally, you know, I'm not a huge Joshua fan, but I watch all of his fights because he fights all the best guys, and every now and then you're gonna lose to one of them. So
You're gonna lose.
it happens.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Just fight. I'm fine with that. You know, as people say, you can win 100% of the fights you don't fight. It's like Tank Davis. If you talk to a Tank Davis fan, Tank Davis would beat every single person in the world, except he doesn't fight them.
No, that's right.
And that's the problem. He don't fight them. So if you don't fight the people, of course you're gonna win the fights.
Yeah.
You win all the fights, but Adam Karanaki's a bum. I don't want to hear none of that, man. Get out of here, man.
So, in closing for me, I reckon Adam Kalinacki should take on Shondell Winters. Would be an okay
Oh
opponent for
wow,
him to go
he's
out.
that low to you?
Yeah, I think that's competitive.
Oh.
He's
What about like a what's that guy? Like Johnny Rice, that guy who beat
oh no, Johnny
one of
Rice.
these-
Johnny Rice will smoke him out bad. He'll waste him.
Rice,
I rate Jonathan Rice. I think he could beat some of the prospects on the way up that we're looking at the moment.
Yeah. What about getting Kalinacki over to fight like a what's that kid's name from Matchroom? You know, they say he's gonna fight the other guy who looks like Kalinacki.
Alan Babic.
Not Babbage, the other bald-headed, bearded guy. He's with Wasserman and them. He used to be with Frank Warren. He's about to fight Fabio Ward.
Nathan Gorman.
Yeah, what about like you know?
That could be interesting, but I think Gorman would still beat the snot out of Kalinacki as well. Honestly.
Wow.
Yeah. Babic and Kalinacki would be a fun fight though.
Yeah, I agree.
That'd be
I
a
agree.
fun fight. But you know
Agree.
how that stuff happens over at PBC Island there, how they manage things. You got to be looking at PBC fighters, or we're dreaming by the looks of it.
What about this guy who Johnny Rice beat though? What's his name? It was this guy they were talking up. You know,
who beat?
Who?
Who did you say? Someone who
No,
beat?
Johnny Rice beat him. That's
Michael Polite Coffee.
Michael Coffey. That's right. What about Coffey and Kalinacki? That's
That's a decent fight. But once again, I think Kalinacki, you could still get a beating. Who's that other one? Kingsley Ibe. There you go. I think Kingsley Ibe and Adam Kalinacki is a good fight. That could work.
That could work.
Yeah.
That could work. I'll take that. But I don't want to hear nothing about Kalinacki and no top fighters no more. All right? I didn't want to hear about it then. I damn sure don't want to hear about it now. So that's all. Wise. I came to dunk on Adam Kalinacki and I'm gone. Yeah, you have a nice day.
Sweet as. Take it easy, bro. Thanks for popping in.
You know where I heard that sweet ass stuff? Scott McLaughlin. You know who Scott McLaughlin?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. He does the Bus Bros YouTube show with another racer in IndyCar called Joseph Newgarden called Bus Bros. And when you just said sweet as, he has a segment called Sweet As with Scotty Mac. I was like, yeah. I like Scott McLaughlin. I follow a lot of motorsport and I like him.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Sweet.
All right, man. Be easy.
You too, brother. Take it easy. All right. Into the chat. That PBC card was a shit show yesterday. Well, they've been putting on some decent ones at Showtime. There was one stoppage on there. It was disgusting. Pardon me. Gary Antonio Russell taking on Rancis Barthelemy in there. That was a good fight, man. They were both tagging each other up. Russell was starting to get the better of it. He landed a big right hook out of the southpaw stance, put Bartholomew down, but he got straight up, wandered over to his corner. The ref said, look, walk to me, walk to him, give me your gloves, wiped his gloves, and then the ref waved off the fight. He wasn't swaying or nothing. He wasn't stumbling, no nothing, and he stopped the fight. That punk needs to be investigated. That punk must have had a bet on the 6th round stoppage or something, because that was disgusting. I had in the prediction league, I'd picked the 10th round, and I thought, okay, yeah, Bartholomew got knocked down, and he's gonna maybe take a round off to try and gather himself, and then start trying to come back to try and win the fight later in the rounds. And I thought Antoine Russell was probably gonna knock him out in the 9th or the 10th round. Pissed me right off. That ref should never work again. There's something dubious behind him stopping that fight, because there was no reason for him to stop that fight. No reason whatsoever. Bartholomew was up, he was lucid, he wasn't stumbling, there was no eyes rolling back in his head. He followed every instruction, and the referee still stopped the fight. Absolute bullshit. I was pissed off, man. What else we got in here? Russell v Bartholomew stoppage was nuts, yeah. It was a good fight too. It could have ended up the best fight on the card, and that prick wrecked it for everybody. Really pissed me off, man. What else was on that card? Alright, I guess we'll get to the main event of that fight, of that card, between Danny Garcia and Jose Benavidez, the older brother of David Benavidez. Now, both of these fighters had fought down at 140. Yes, Benavidez had even fought down at 140. They both moved up to 147, but Jose Benavidez had been up at 154 for a little while. I can actually have a quick check. Where is it? Oh, that's a boxer's profile. Give me a sec here, team. Danny Garcia, box rec. Jose Benavidez. So I'm sure he's been at 154 for at least a couple of fights. What we got here? He weighed in at 153 for this fight. He was up at 157 in the last fight against Francisco Emmanuel Torres. 157, so he was fighting at 160 pretty much. The fight before that was 145. He fought Terence Crawford. So yeah, he'd been out of the ring for quite some time. Apparently he got mixed up with some wrong people and got shot in the leg after he fought Terence Crawford at 147. And he'd been on a long recovery. He did have a fight in 2021. That was that fight at 157 against Francisco Emmanuel Torres. That was kind of his comeback fight, and he didn't look that great in that fight. Apparently it was controversial, and it was a majority draw. So apparently most people think Torres won that fight. I didn't watch it. And then there was this fight at 154 against Danny Garcia. So it was Danny Garcia's debut at 154. And, you know, everyone assumed that Jose Benavidez was the naturally bigger man, but when you look at the history, he's not really. He's not. Danny's a little bit shorter with a little bit shorter reach. They've both fought in the same weight divisions. Now, I went back and looked at some highlights of that Torres fight for Benavidez. And I thought, this guy ain't that great. I mean, Danny Garcia at 154, I figured he ain't gonna be that good, but this other guy, he ain't shit at 154. So I picked Garcia by unanimous decision, and that's what it should have been. Danny was... It was a little bit competitive in the first couple of rounds, but then Benavidez didn't seem to be doing enough. He strayed away from his jab, he wasn't throwing enough volume, and maybe it's that leg he got shot in, or stabbed in, or kneecapped or something. I heard he got kneecapped even, actually. But anyway, he just wasn't able to utilize enough footwork to catch up with Danny. So Danny was picking him off, picking some good counter shots, but he was leading a lot of the time with combinations as well. And Benavidez was just trying to land one big shot. It was never going to work, so it should have been a unanimous decision. It ended up a majority decision, which was weird. I'm just trying to look up the cards here, because I think I had it like 117, 111. At best, maybe 116, 112. Actually, I might have only had 2 rounds to Jose Benavidez. No, I think I had it 9-3. Yeah, 117, 111 is what I had. And sure enough, there's a 117, 111, one of the judges. 114, 114. This dickhead scored at a draw. I do not know how the hell this prick scored at a draw. He must have been on some kind of payroll, or he had a bet on or something. What's his name? Waleski Roldam. Waleski Roldam is the judge's name. He had it a draw. Disgusting. But yeah, both of the others. Oh no, it was 116, 111. Oh no, 116, 112. 117, 111. And 114, 114. So 2 judges pretty much got it right. But one of them, disgusting scorecard. But yeah, Danny Garcia at 154. I mean, what's his name? The guy, Tony Harrison, was there. And it looks like he wants to fight Danny. He was hoping Danny would win, because Danny's a name and he brings a lot more money than Jose Benavidez. So it looks like that fight's possibly going to be next for Garcia and Harrison. But I think Harrison will beat the snot out of Danny at 154. Any real level at 154, I think Danny's going to get beaten up. Yeah, just is what it is. I mean, Danny Garcia is a pretty good boxer. I mean, he was most suited at 140. At 154, he can't compete with the guys at the top of the division, and I think that was one of the reasons why he moved up to 154. Possibly can't make 140 anymore, because he's just getting a bit longer in the tooth, and it's a bit harder to make that weight. So jump into a division where there's not so many killers, I guess. And yeah, I think Danny will get beaten by any real level at 154. I picked Danny to win on points. Yeah, so did I. Stephen, James Jameson in the house. Nanu. In the prediction league, I had picked Isaac Chamberlain to win on points. I regret that. I actually participated in another boxing prediction league over on Facebook, Fantasy Boxing Prediction League. They call it the Champ Ross. Got involved with that at the start of their last season. I came second this week, and out of, I think they got like 60 something people. So I'm climbing the ladder on that one. And on that one I had picked, I got every fight right except for the LeSean Rodriguez fight this weekend. I think that was on this PBC card earlier. I didn't see it. But LeSean Rodriguez was 13-0. His opponent, let me see if I can find it here. Oh no, that's Jose Benavidez' record. Danny Garcia record. Come on, give me the card, man. Give me the card. I'm sure it was on this one. It's Adam Kolnacki. Vito Melnicki Jr. was on the card. There it is. LeSean Rodriguez was 13-0. He was taking on Israel Hold on. Let me get my tongue around my teeth here. Villarreal, who was 11-0. This was a hard one to pick. Apparently, they fought in the amateurs, these two, and LeSean Rodriguez beat him in the amateurs, so it was kind of a grudge match. And this dude come out and knocked LeSean Rodriguez out in the 6th round of 8. So that was a bit unexpected. I don't think I saw anybody pick Israel Villarreal to win this fight, but I think it was a legit 50-50 fight, that one. It was a tough pick, and you can't argue with the result when it's a knockout. You cannot. Vito Melnicki Jr., like I was saying, was also on the card. He was 11-1. He got a TKO victory in the 6th round of 8 over Jimmy Williams. Jimmy Williams before this fight was 18-8-2, so it's kind of expected for Vito Melnicki to get that win. There was also Junior, how do we say this? Yunin. It was 16-0-1. He got a TKO victory in the 1st round against Darren. How do we say this one? Yeliesinov. There we go. I think that must be it. He was 10-1. Didn't see that one myself. And what was this one here? Oh, Sergey Deverenchenko. Shit, I didn't know that was on the card either. Sergey Deverenchenko, 13-4. He got a unanimous decision win over 10 over Joshua Conley. Oh shit. I'm sure that wasn't even televised, that one. I can't remember. But anyways, that's the results for that card. I'll get back over to the chat here. Gagaruga. Chamberlain broke his orbital bone in the 3rd round. Well, it didn't seem to be showing too many effects of it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was from a headbutt. The way Billum Smith was getting away with pushing in with his head, boring in with his head, and then pushing with his 2 hands, he got away with it far too much in that fight. And I think Billum Smith got some advice from Lawrence Okoli. They are training partners. I think they're both under, is it Shane McGuigan? Yeah, I can't remember if they're both under Shane McGuigan, but they both trained together. Lawrence Okoli had fought Isaac Chamberlain and used the bully tactics to effect. Not a great fight to watch, but it seems Chamberlain doesn't have any answers for it when he gets bullied, when he gets pushed around, but he's not getting any help from the referees at the same time when it comes to that sort of tactic. So I think Billum Smith is a mid-level fighter, says Kong. Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, he's probably European level, but he gets to the top of the division, he's going to get beaten up. I don't know if he'll get stopped much because he's pretty tough, isn't he? I mean, Reactball couldn't stop him. Reactball's got a good punch too, so I don't know. But he's definitely not world championship material. Maybe a world championship opponent for somebody. But yeah, it is what it is for the cruiserweight division at the moment with those guys. I see Dean Lotigan was over there watching that fight, looking for a potential opponent for Jai Opetaia, but Jai's going to be out of the ring for a while with his jaw clean snapped off in that Breeders' fight. He's going to be out for at least a year. So we'll see what happens when the time comes for Jai to get back in the ring. Is he going to take on a soft touch, or is he going to go straight for a Lawrence Okoli, if he can get it, or a Richard Reactball? And he better not take any advice from Lawrence. Billum Smith is always there. Slopfest, yeah, man. Bloody guts, yeah. He's not a technician of any type, is he? He's a rip shit and bust fighter who happy to get down and dirty, and that's pretty much the only way he's going to win at any decent level, is making it dirty and uncomfortable for proper boxers. I think Chamberlain's more of a proper boxer, but you know, you got to have answers for when people bring those other tactics to you, and he just doesn't seem to have them. I think on Chamberlain's best day he beats Billum Smith, but I don't know, he hasn't been that active at the same time at any real level, and I think part of the problem with that is him being under a long-term contract with Mick Hennessy, so he's not going to get the fights he needs. It was a stupid thing to sign up for, 5 years or something with Mick Hennessy. That was crazy for Isaac Chamberlain. There's room for that. He can have a good career at that level. Yeah, well, shit, he can still make a living out of it. So, yeah, best of luck to him. But he steps in there with well, he probably won't fight Lawrence Okoli, but steps in there with a Breeders, a Dorticus, Jai Opetaia, who else is there? What's that guy's name? I can't remember. Used to be called the Monster. He's been knocked out a couple of times now. He fought in that WBSS tournament. Dorticus knocked him out. Never mind, can't remember off the top of my head, but those sort of fighters, he gets in there with those guys, he's going to lose 7 out of 7 days of the week in my book. It's Billum Smith. Alright, so the weekend to come, we have this circus fight between Jake Paul and Hasim Rahman. I might actually be staying away from betting on this one. I got sneaking suspicion that there might be a fix in play here. might be a fix. I think Hasim Rahman should win the fight, but I've got a sneaking suspicion there's gonna be a fix, so I'm gonna stay away from that one when it comes to betting. When I come to the prediction leagues, I'll be making my picks as Hasim Rahman for sure. I'm not gonna tell you what method of victory as yet. You'll see if you're involved with the prediction league when it comes to it. But got a couple of other fights as well. We've got Virgil Ortiz and Michael McKinson next weekend, I think, as well. I thought he pulled out. Who? Rahman. Are you kidding me? Let me go see. I did notice yesterday I was looking at the betting sites and they had it up there, but then it disappeared. Then they only had Virgil Ortiz and Michael McKinson on there. So let me have a look here. What's the news on that? Jake Paul, BoxRec. Why would he do that? Why would he pull out? Still listed on BoxRec. 6th of August. That's still listed there. Let me have a quick look. Hold on. Let me have a quick look. What we got here? Jake Paul Google, and we hit the news tab. Who is Hasim Rahman Jr.? Bio, blah blah blah. Note. Hasim Rahman. Next opponent, Jake Paul. Sparred, blah blah blah. Jake Paul v Hasim Rahman Jr. Footage of boxer sparring, blah blah blah. So I haven't seen anything there. Let me have a quick look on one of my betting sites, because they're usually pretty reliable. If something's happened, it would have disappeared. Log in. Bet365 is my favorite betting site at the moment. Sports, boxing, MMA. Let me click on to win fights. What fights have they got listed here? Sunday, 7th of August, because we're pretty much a day ahead of everybody. We've got Virgil Ortiz Jr. and Michael McKinson. We've got Teofimo Lopez and Pedro Campa. Is that the same weekend? No, that's the weekend after. So yes, maybe you're right. Jake Paul and Hasim Rahman has disappeared off my betting site, man. You may be right there, Kevin Worrell. That's a shame. Joe Pataya team was at that card. Likely fight Chris next. I guess that's probably a good idea for Joe if he's going to be out of the ring for 12 months. Chris Billam-Smith is a name in the UK. He's obviously looked at as decent. He's just beaten a decent fighter and Isaac Chamberlain, so yeah, it's not a bad first defense of his title. So yeah, Paul pulled out the fight. What? That comment moved on me. Paul pulled out the fight with Rahman. Cancelled the whole show. Serrano fight off too. Yeah, well, there was Serrano on there as well. Oh, for fuck's sake. So, was this part of Jake Paul's social media exposure plan? Look, I'm fighting a real boxer. I'm doing this. I'm doing what everybody says I need to do to prove myself. Gets that far into it and then fucking pulls out. You blonde-headed poofter. That pisses me off. I was looking forward to seeing this facade ended. God damn it. So maybe it was a case of Jake Paul pissed off Hasim Rahman with too much of his trash talk. Now Hasim Rahman's refusing to take the payoff to take a dive, so Jake Paul's got to pull out. It almost confirms my suspicions of a fix. Cheating piece of crap mofo. Let's cancel Jono both. Go forward to Hasim and Paul. Looking forward to Hasim and Paul. Motherfucker. That pisses me off. Unprofessional, so close to the fight. Yeah, big time. I wonder what his excuse is. You can always come out and say I got COVID at the moment, I guess, eh? But in which case, if there was a contract in place, then Rahman would be quite entitled to pursue a reschedule legally through the courts. I don't know. What a piss off. That pisses me off, man. That really pisses me off. Alright, so Michael McKinson and Virgil Ortiz. We better look a little bit into this one. So let me bring up the profiles. I haven't even really looked into the schedule yet, to be honest, so I might make a video or two later on in the week if there's some decent fights to talk about for next weekend. We'll get to that. It's only Monday here. No hurry, man. No hurry at all. So this Michael McKinson and Virgil Ortiz Jr. card is going to be on the Zone. It's going to be in the States. And it's gonna be in Texas, Fort Worth, Texas. I think that's Virgil Ortiz's hometown, isn't it? Texas. So it's a pretty good fight. I mean, Virgil Ortiz is unbeaten, of course, at 18-0. Michael McKinson's also unbeaten at 22-0. But Michael McKinson is no power puncher whatsoever. In his 22 wins, he's only got 2 knockouts. He's an awkward ass mofo though. Awkward ass. So, Virgil Ortiz, is he going to be able to get to him? I mean, Ortiz has got 18 wins, 18 KOs. He's knocked out everybody he's faced. But he ain't faced someone as elusive and awkward as Michael McKinson. I believe the bookies. So I've got my site open. We can have a look at the actual odds while I'm here. So, come on, open, you sumbitch. Open, let me in there. Oh, they got no options, so I can't look at that. Yeah. So just their straight out odds. They've got Virgil Ortiz at $1. And 6 cents. $1, 1.062. So he's, if you put $1 on, you're not even going to make $1 profit. You make 6 cents profit. You'll get $1.06 back. Michael McKinson's paying $8 for the win. He's not likely to win this fight. But I think if you want to try and make any money off betting on this one, you'd have to wait for a few days and maybe group some rounds for a knockout. Pick a Virgil Ortiz grouped round knockout, or possibly even a Virgil Ortiz win by decision, because McKinson's goddamn elusive and has a pretty decent chin. So yeah, let us know in the chat, is there any fights that you are looking forward to for next weekend that haven't been cancelled? I think Ortiz is going to stop Mikey McKinson unless that medical condition with his kidney becomes a factor. Well, in all reality, if that's a factor, he shouldn't be cleared to fight. Simple as that. Drink a lot of water, Virgil. Make sure it's all flushed out all the time. That's basically all you can do. Take the advice of your doctor, man. Taylor fought last night. Oh, Josh Taylor. You mean Josh Kelly? Pretty poor fight. He won. I'm sure you must mean Josh Kelly. Josh Taylor's next fight is Jack Catterall rematch. Wonder what Joseph Parker doing with the rest of this year. Well, I was hoping that Michael Hunter fight would get made since Fury pulled out. That would have been a decent fight, but kind of floundering over there. Who else is he going to fight? Sky don't have any other heavyweights besides no one really on his level. No one at world level besides Hugh Fury and Michael Hunter are on Boxer at the moment. So I can't see that Joe Joyce fight ever getting made unless the WBO decide to order it. And I don't see them doing that until at least this Joshua v Usyk rematch is settled. So yeah, it was Josh Kelly. It's cool. I did watch that fight. I thought it was an okay fight, but the opponent, I mean, let's be real, after he got destroyed by David Avanesian, he ain't going to be taking on any world level opponents for a little while until he's built his confidence back up. I saw him a few weeks ago knock some dude out in the 5th round, some dude that I didn't really know, and then he took on this what's his name, Lucas Bastida. He's a pretty durable kind of guy. Josh Kelly's never been a big puncher. He's got a great amateur background, but as a pro, I think he's basically a solid B-level fighter, and he's never going to be anything more. Just doesn't have heavy enough hands to do the damage he needs to do. He's got some skills there for sure, but I think he's also got some confidence issues as well after David Avanesian wrecked him. Virgil Ortiz will be good. I got him to win by KO. Yeah, I think I'll take him by KO as well, but when it comes to betting, like I say, I'll probably go pick a later round and group some rounds. So I think it's going to take a while for him to possibly get McKinson to slow down a bit. Maybe I'll even just group 6 rounds, take a second half knockout, see what they're paying. All depends on what the odds are doing. You gotta weigh up the difference between what you think's going to happen and what the odds are doing. Sometimes it's just not worth making a bet because they're not paying enough for the amount of risk you take, you know. So be smart. Can't wait for AJ v Usyk. Chat's moving. Going to be a good fight. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a good fight. No, I think it's shaping up to be a pretty damn good card too. They've got that IBF final eliminator between Jili Zhang and Philippe Hergovic on there, but they've also got another one on there now. Andrew Tabiti, former cruiserweight, is moving up to heavyweight, and he's going to be taking on unbeaten Tyrone Spong. I think that's going to be an interesting fight. Tyrone Spong, as we know, was supposed to be fighting Alexander Usyk and apparently popped dirty, but then was proven innocent after the fact, and I find it a little bit surprising that he's popped up on this card, because he was publicly defaming Eddie Hearn, saying Eddie Hearn had something to do with the positive drug test result, trying to blame him, and then he ends up popping up on this Matchroom card on a huge card. But he's going to get massive exposure, so I'm wondering if he actually had a point and this is some kind of out-of-court settlement from Eddie Hearn to shut him up. You know? But yeah, it's an interesting fight. I might actually be picking Andrew Tabiti. He's been out of the ring for quite some time, but Tyrone Spong hasn't been in the ring for a long time either. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Kevin, I like Conor Benn. Going to be interesting. See how he goes the next 18 months. Yeah, Conor Benn's quite an interesting fighter to watch for sure. But I don't like the idea of him getting in there with Chris Eubank at 156. I think they're talking about. I think they're having problems with the Eubanks because Team Ben want a rehydration clause in there as well, so he doesn't get too big after the weigh-in. When you're jumping up 2 weight divisions, pretty much, to fight somebody, I can understand you want some stipulations to try and make the fight more even. But realistically, it's just a money fight, really. I'd expect Conor Benn to get beaten up, possibly even stop later on, but it won't affect his career at 147, will it? Because it's basically at middleweight. Right, what else we got here? Did you see that Harlem Eubank fight? Yeah, disqualification in the 9th. It's a bit different, wasn't it? It was a late notice opponent too, changed. He's supposed to be fighting someone else and that changed. I can't remember exactly what the disqualification for. I was only watching parts of the fight and then I just sat down and saw the dude get disqualified. It was late punches, that's right, because the ref was saying, stop, and this guy was throwing after the ref had said stop. He'd done it a couple of times and he ended up getting disqualified for it. I'm wondering if there was something to do with the language misunderstanding there, or was the guy just frustrated and dirty? I don't know, either way. Let's have a look. Can't remember his name. Harlem Eubank, Box Rick. Here we go. So the dude's name was Elliot Chavez, 11-4-1. Got disqualified for late punching. Chavez, I assume he's Mexican or Puerto Rican or something. We're just looking that up. There we go, he's Mexican. So whether he even spoke English or not, I don't know, but it's pretty universal. Stop! If you punch after that, yeah, well, you get what you deserve, I guess. What else we got? James Jameson. I fancy Ben on points. Are you talking about Ben on points against Eubank? Really? You fancy Ben on points? Each into their own, but that's kind of surprising to me. What else we got? Disqualified for late punches. Yeah, found that out. Actually nearly KO'd him first. Oh really? I didn't see the first one. So that makes it more justified then, I guess. Anything on innocent Joseph Parker? Nothing, bro. Nothing, man. No news on that dude. I think he's kind of put himself out on a branch by himself there at the moment, when we knew Michael Hunter and Hughie Fury were going to be fighting each other, and there's not really anybody else on Boxer that he can fight, so it's going to have to be getting somebody in. So it won't be somebody from PBC, because they don't let anybody go anywhere. It looks like Frank Warren's not willing to let Joe Joyce go over to Sky, and Sky's not going to let Joseph Parker go over to BT. So shit, are we going to be sitting on our hands waiting for an order for that fight? Otherwise, I just don't know. Maybe he'll get the Dillian White rematch. Depends what Dillian wants to do. He might want to try and fight Daniel Dubois and take that WBA regular title, because I think that's been deemed as the mandatory next for the WBA belt holder, whoever it'll be. But I think the money will be better fighting Joseph Parker over on Sky. So what's going to matter to Dillian the most? Is it going to be money or trying to get back to a title shot? In all seriousness, I don't think Dillian should be trying to chase another title shot just yet. He needs to let his chin mean the white china be busted. He's been sparkoed 3 times now. Absolutely sparkoed. Needs to stop that shit, or ain't going to be boxing for much longer. I think Eubank is technically poor. I don't think he's that great myself either, but he's a hell of a lot bigger than Conor Benn, and Conor Benn's not exactly technically I mean, he's probably better technically than Eubank has been, but I don't think he's that polished. And I think the size difference and the style, I think Eubank will get him later on in the fight. I don't know. I'll watch it for sure, but for me, it's a money grab. I mean, Chris Eubank Jr. has been a freaking prospect for 13 fucking years. When's he gonna get in a real fight? He should be fighting Demetrius Andrade. He's got an offer for $1 million to go over there and fight him. Why not fight him? That's a real fight. Fighting a fucking welterweight. What credit is he going to get even if he does win? What an idiot. See my point? I think he stops Ben in 8. Yeah, you might be right there, G. You might be right there. It's probably about, I'd pick somewhere 8 to 12, just off the top of my head. Depending if it's a 12-round fight, it might only be a 10-rounder. In fact, I'd probably just about guarantee it'd be a 10-rounder. So 8 to 10, I'll maybe even go 7 to 10 if I was betting on it. Try and group 3 rounds if they'll let me. Innocent Joseph must be biding his time. What for? Wait till everyone retires. Well, he is one of the younger guys around. He's only 30, eh? So he may be biding his time for the belts to get split up again. Try and attack a vacant belt again. You never know. Well, what's Kevin Wild saying here? Ben Eubank won't happen. I hope it doesn't happen. It's a bullshit fight. Eubank will be favourite, but I could see young Ben outsmart Eubank. I mean, it's possible. He'd be that much quicker, wouldn't he? So he might be able to get in and out, score points, stay out of trouble, frustrate the shit out of Chris Eubank, make him do some dumb shit. No, they both got that really arrogant personality, so you rub them the wrong way, they're going to get real pissy real quick, and boxers don't do too well when they get real pissy. Eubank is getting worse, not better. It's about right. I think he's under Roy Jones now. I mean, yeah. He's the kind of guy that's easy to heckle, and you could piss him off if you're in the audience and he can't see who's actually speaking at him. Yell out shit like, "Who's a prospect for 13 fucking years?" Eubank about their fathers, then their kids. Wow, that's what makes the fight, doesn't it? The rivalry that used to be around between Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. They did fight, so man, I mean, we had a fight like that in the heavyweights not too long ago between Hasim Rahman Jr. and James Kenzie Morrison. Both of their fathers were top level boxers, but you can see in the sons that they're definitely not that type of level. But that kind of fight makes a bit of money because of their father's name. I guess if you're not that good a boxer, you got to take advantages of opportunities that can make you money when you ain't got the hands to make the money yourself. So there's a bit of that going on with Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn for sure. I think one of the ones that has somewhat close to the amount of talent of their father is Tim Tszyu. He's currently mandatory, and he's apparently going to be fighting Jamal Charlo on the 18th or the 28th of January or something. It's scheduled way down the line. I imagine Jamal Charlo's got to fight his mandatory that had been put off already, for him to fight Brian Castillo. Is it Brian Castillo? For that undisputed fight. Now the undisputed fight settled. The guy who had been put on the back burner wants his shot. So I guess that's what's supposed to be happening before Tim Tszyu and Jamal Charlo get it on. Eubank now wants to fight Jake Paul. Fuck's sake. Desperate for money, eh? That's fuck's sake. I heard James Kenzie Morrison after Hasim Rahman and Jake Paul was announced. He put out a video. This is James Kenzie Morrison. He put out a video saying, "Why couldn't I get that opportunity? I beat Hasim Rahman." These sons of legends scratching for money, and that's the only reason they want to fight Jake Paul. It ain't for recognition. Well, I guess to a degree it is recognition, not for beating Jake Paul, but they get on TV, on pay-per-view events, due to the name of their fathers and so on and so forth. So it doesn't surprise me one little bit that Chris Eubank Jr. now wants to fight Jake Paul. That's fucking disgusting. Money-grubbing, dirty, arrogant little prick. That's crazy, man. We don't fight for legacy, we fight for money. It's all about the money. I hate that. There very rarely is a fighter's child as good as their father. As the great, marvelous Marvin Hagler said, yeah. It's hard to get up at 4 a.m. within the skill, within the silk sheets. Yeah, fucking oath. Fucking oath. Takes a special type that's got, never wanting for anything, but still has the passion and the desire to go out and try and do it for themselves when they've already got everything given to them. For sure. For sure. Breed's got a tattoo. Oh shit, moved again. Breed's got a tattoo to try and get the Jake Paul fight. Yeah, I heard about that. That disgusted me too. Somebody of the caliber of Myers Breeder stooping to the money grubbing level. I want to fight Jake Paul. It's kind of disappointing to a degree that, someone like Myers Breeder, the caliber of him, hasn't really made enough money to satisfy. And I guess that comes with being a cruiserweight, because it's not exactly a glamour division. It gets overlooked a lot. The light heavyweight division even gets more attention than the cruiserweight division, so it is a little disappointing, but kind of makes me feel a bit sick that somebody of the caliber of Myers Breeder is bringing him down to the level of Jake Paul. Jake Paul would never get in the ring with Myers Breeder. If he did, it'd be the last time he got in the ring. I can guarantee you that. Not saying he'd get killed, but if he didn't, he would not want to get back in the ring with a real boxer ever again, because Breeder would beat the living snot out of that boy. Beat the living social media out his ass. Crazy, man. I hope fake Paul gets knocked out. Yeah, me too. I don't actually mind watching him fight. He's an entertainer, but that's as far as it goes. I'm never going to be, cheering for him or thinking he's something that he's not. Because that's what all the people on his social media platforms are getting sucked into, He's got 5 wins, professional pay-per-view fights. None of them are against boxers. Not fucking one of them. And then when he gets one against a real fighter, he pulls out after creating all this hype. Some bitch wouldn't take my payoff to take a dive, so I'm fucking out of here. Pussy ass motherfucker. He's a baby back bitch. Yeah, Conor Ben got the... What is it? Conor Ben got the drive to live the life. Yeah, man. And he's 50 rich. Not filthy rich. Maybe Joshua had enough. Now he's lost his killer instinct. Yeah, I kind of had my questions about that with Joshua, but to a degree I think maybe he might be a bit more hungry this time around against Usyk. It's not like the Ruiz loss where you could just, change to boxing on the back foot and pot shot him from the outside all night. You can't be doing that with Usyk, and everybody in the world knows very well what Alexander Usyk is now. A lot of people didn't know who he was before. They knew he was a cruiserweight champion, they knew he was a gold medalist, but not many people actually watched a lot of his fights when it comes to the casual fan base. But now he's got that exposure against a boxer that many think is the best in the world. Joshua knows very well that there's going to be a shitload more people watching this one than the last one, so he wants to prove himself. I think he's got a bit of a drive for legacy, and after being signed by DAZN as well, so he's already secured his future on a global platform when it comes to getting paid for the next few years. So what else is there? He's already got shitloads of money. He's secured his future financially. So the only thing left really is hunger to be the best. And he's, I don't know, what is he, 30? Is he 34 years old or something now? Let's have a quick look. Don't need Joshua box rec. Oh, he's 32. He's 32, so he's still got a few years in him. But how long he wants to continue, I'm not sure. You know, I did see some comments from him about vacating all the belts if he beats Alexander Usyk. That'll piss Tyson Fury off, because you know Tyson Fury's made it clear that he would like to fight Anthony Joshua if he wins, but he don't want to fight Alexander Usyk because he's a blown up cruiserweight that nobody knows, even if he has 4 belts. You know, it is what it is. But let's have a look. I just brought this card up. What else have we got confirmed on here? We've got Callum Smith confirmed on the card as well. He's going to be taking on... Ooh. I think that's supposed to be a funny way of spelling Matthew. I don't even know who this dude is. Matthew Bodalik. Matthew Bodalik. This dude is 21-1. Callum Smith. So that fight will be, of course, at light heavyweight. Callum Smith's moved up since losing to Canelo. Who else we got on here? We got the Hrgovic Zhang fight confirmed on there. Oh, Badu Jack. He's been fighting over there in Dubai under his own promotional banner. Got away from, was it Yvonne Michelle he was with? He's going to be fighting in a 10-rounder against Richard Riviera, who's 21-0. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. I don't know. Buddy Jack could lose that fight. Last time I saw him, he didn't look that shit hot. Yeah, here's this one I was talking about earlier. Andrew Tabiti, 19-1-1. 8-rounder against Tyrone Spong. He's 14-0. Ramla Ali is going to be fighting. Wow, okay. Haven't seen her fight in a long time. Oh no, it's not it's Ramla Ali. I'm thinking of what's her name? Muhammad Ali's daughter. Can't remember her name. It's not Ramla Ali. Ramla Ali's that pommy chick. Yeah, she came from Sri Lanka, I think. Yeah, she's Sri Lankan and moved to the UK as a refugee or something. She's going to be taking on Crystal Garcia Nova. Don't know that chick. It's women's boxing. It's like meh. Unless it's Katie Taylor and Serrano, or Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields, or Michaela Mayer and what's her name? Alicia Baumgardner. If it's not big fights like those, I'm not fucking interested. Daniel Lappin, 5-0, taking on Joseph Jerko, who's 9-6. No stipulated rounds. These must be getting into the ticket seller fights down the bottom here. Local boys, I think. So there's a few fights already confirmed on that card. Gonna be interesting, right? Let me back to the chat. I think I missed some shit here. Yeah, I think I missed some shit. AJ getting on a bit now. Eddie Cash Cow's running out of milk. That's a good way of putting it, Kevin. 32, he's not that old yet, but I don't think he's too far away from 33. He's heavyweights last a bit longer because, well, depending on how their career goes, of course, but because the punches are slower, reactions, which are one of the first to go, one of the first attributes to go, aren't quite as important. Speed is another one, but the power's last to go. So as long as you haven't taken too many punches throughout your career as a heavyweight, you can still do pretty well at 38. Start going downhill by no choice. 39, 40 though, eh? It's just how it is. And most of the smaller weight divisions, once you get past about 35, it's like the 40 of the heavyweights, you know. Usyk doesn't do too well against bob and weave defense. Chisora needs... Well, Chisora made a miss. Well, that kind of fighter that Chisora is always going to lose to Usyk, in my opinion. There's always going to be the first half of the fight where he's got plenty of gas and he's going to create problems, going to the body a lot, but doing that gasses you out. As you saw Deontay Wilder in the third fight against Tyson Fury, he started trying to throw heavy shots to the body, which is something he hadn't really done a lot of. He wasn't used to it and he was gassed in 2 rounds. Somebody's been doing it their entire career, and Derek Chisora did manage to do some damage, but he gassed out and he had nothing left in the last half of the fight. There was a couple of times he tried to start putting it on, but he didn't have enough to sustain it. And what, you know, if Joshua tried to do that, I think he'd get knocked out because he's not used to doing that. He doesn't have the best gas tank as it is. It's going to be an interesting fight, man. I'm looking forward to it. I see Usyk as a favourite this time with the bookies, but not by much. Not by much at all. I think I was looking at it about a month ago and Joshua was quite wide underdog, but the odds have closed up now that the people have started placing money on it. The odds have been adjusted, and I think to correctly as well, you know. I think it's going to be a good fight. I'm not going to make a pick yet. Well, I'll put a loose pick out there. I think Usyk pinches it on points again. I was almost leaning towards a Usyk stoppage in the last 3 rounds, but it's hard to say. I mean, Joshua's going to try and make some adjustments, and if he tries to take a bit more gas out of Usyk earlier on, is Joshua going to be more gas later on? Is he going to be in better condition? Is he going to try and start a bit faster and just try to go for the win on points? I mean, there's so many different variables that can happen in this fight. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, man. Yeah, hell of a fight. That Shields v Marshall. Yeah, I like that fight. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm also looking forward to that Baumgardner and Michaela Mayer fights on the same card. So, yeah, a couple of women's fights that I'll be looking into. It's not often I'll watch 2 women's fights if it's by choice, but I will be that time. AJ was too nice at the press conference. Press conference doesn't get you any points in the fight though, man. AJ was trying to intimidate Usyk though when I saw them do the face off, but Usyk wasn't having any of it. Looking straight back at him with the thought in his head, I've already beaten you, boy. You bring me what you got. What else you got in here? Stephen, Kevin. Welsh Phil. Yep. The Philip Carl Roberts. I think Usyk will try to KO AJ to make a statement for force the Fury fight. Nah, he won't be forcing Fury. He's made it clear that he doesn't want to fight Usyk, and I know why. Usyk can make him look bad. Even if he beats Usyk, he can still make it, Fury look bad. I'm done with what Fury says anyway. What Fury says and what Fury does is quite often 2 different things. So the shit that comes out of his mouth ain't worth listening to. Wipe that shit up with toilet paper. Well, I think if you look at the last round of the last fight, Usyk almost got Joshua out of there, and then he stepped off the gas. Like he's, okay, I won't knock you out, so the rematch still has a hell of a lot more credibility, and they still managed to stop the fight 10 seconds early when Joshua was in trouble leaning on the ropes, which should have been a knockdown because the ropes were holding him up. I don't know, man. But the first fight's going to be a lot different to the second fight, I think. It's going to be a hell of a lot different. But that could also work to AJ's advantage. That's right. If Usyk does try and step on the gas and get him out of there, he's going to be open to more counters. There's going to be more opportunities for Joshua. So, yeah, it's going to be a good fight. I am looking forward to it. Just like you, Phil, and many of us, any. Fury says EWT. Yeah, Fury says what he thinks people want to hear. Half the time, some of the shit he says is dumb. I mean, calling Usyk just a blown up, what do you call him? A blown up middleweight. The man's 225 pounds. He's 6'3". In fact, just give me a second here. How big is Steve Cunningham? Let's have a look. Because he was a blown up cruiserweight, wasn't he, Tyson? Fucking hypocrite. Steve Cunningham, where's his stats? Oh, look at that. He's 6'3". The same height as Alexander Usyk. With an 82-inch reach. A longer reach. He's making every excuse possible to not fight Alexander Usyk when he's fought a fair few guys that are the same fucking size. It's ridiculous, man. He's the hypocrite from hell, is that boy, Tyson Fury. Usyk quite big actually in the world of being bigger than Tyson or Holyfield. Well, yeah, he's bigger than Holyfield just, isn't he? Holyfield's only 6'2". Granted, it's a different era, but they did have big heavyweights back then. They just didn't seem to be as athletically gifted as some of the ones now, so they just weren't as competitive. Because of their lack of athleticism, those bigger guys tended to go for other things like football or lots of other sports. But now there's a lot of money to be made in professional boxing. A lot of these athletic big guys are getting involved and they're competitive. So that argument about heavyweights being bigger than they used to be, it's really horse shit. It's just that the athleticism level and commitment to the sport of boxing has grown a hell of a lot more, so these big guys can improve their athleticism and be more competitive. AJ will come in more aggressive, but if he can't get Usyk out of there in 8 rounds, I think Usyk will stop him. Yeah, well, that's kind of the theory I'm looking at too, Stephen. If he comes out a hell of a lot more aggressive, it's going to take a toll on his gas tank. And if he can't manage to get Usyk out of there, that toll is going to be paid at the end of the fight, isn't it? It kind of depends on the level of aggression too. If he comes out and goes balls to the wall like an idiot, yeah, he's going to get knocked out. That's an easy pick. But if he ups the aggression level by, say, 10 to 15% on his last fight, then that's maybe a more even balance where it could actually do enough damage to get Usyk's movement to slow down. And then if he's still got enough in the tank, he can possibly stop Usyk. But it's going to come down to assessment during the fight as well. Even if he is successful with slightly more aggression, he's won, say, 5 out of the first 7 rounds, it'll be like an evaluation he'll have to make with his team. Is it worth trying to go for the stoppage, or have I not got enough in the tank? Should I just try and pinch a couple more rounds and take it on points? Which I think would probably be the smarter thing, because we know what Alexander Usyk's adaptive skills are like. He can change his plan, he can change to whatever style is needed to deal with the situation, whereas I can't see Anthony Joshua being able to adapt as well as Alexander Usyk can to any situation. So it's all fine and dandy having a game plan, but having a plan B, plan C and plan D, and being able to put those into action during the fight where needed, I think that's a big advantage for Alexander Usyk. So we'll just have to see what happens, man, because it's a good fight. What's the date? It's the 1st of August here. So 19 days to go, or 20 days to go. A few weekends before that of other boxing, but I'm definitely looking forward to it, and that card seems to be shaping up to be pretty decent as well. I'm sure there's going to be more announcements coming for confirmed fights on there, and yeah. What was that? You didn't hear? We didn't hear any of this when he was when he was fighting Sefer Safari. Nobody was taking any of those opponents pre-Wilder on the comeback seriously, were they? Sefer Safari and who was the other one? Francisco Pianeta. I mean, those were those were definitely comeback fights, but Tyson's mouth has gotten out of control. I mean, it's like the boy who cried wolf. You talk so much shit, nobody's going to believe anything that comes out of your mouth eventually, and it's gotten to that point. Nobody believes a goddamn thing that comes out of your mouth. When pen's put to paper and a fight's confirmed, that's when somebody will start giving a shit. Until then, might as well shut the fuck up. AJ needs to bob and weave. He'll gas himself out doing that, man. AJ ain't no bob and weaver. I don't recommend doing something that you're not used to doing. In a fight that's this important. I mean, because let's face it, if he loses this one, what's going to happen? I mean, there's definitely fights out there, but his paydays are going to go down dramatically. There's going to be a lot of the casual fan base that believe the type of shit that comes out of Tyson Fury's mouth and say, you know, Anthony Joshua just got beaten up by a blown up cruiserweight. Never mind that this blown up cruiserweight became undisputed at cruiserweight faster than Evander Holyfield ever did, and he's about to, if he can manage to get Tyson Fury in the ring after this AJ fight, and wins it, he'd be the fastest undisputed at heavyweight as well, wouldn't he? 3 fights? No, it'll be 4 fights. No, what do we got? He had that first fight with Chaz Witherspoon at heavyweight. Then he had Derek Chisora. Then he had Anthony Joshua twice. If he gets Tyson Fury in his 5th fight at heavyweight, that's ridiculous. I think it was 11 fights he made it to undisputed at cruiserweight. Let's have a look at that. Alexander Usyk, there he is. It was Murat Gassiev he fought in the final. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. His 15th fight, he became undisputed at cruiserweight. Oh no, it was it Murat Gassiev? No, it wasn't. It was Maris Bredis in the final, wasn't it? So it was his 16th fight. He became undisputed at cruiserweight. No, it was Murat Gassiev in the final. Yeah, 15th fight was Marco Huck in the quarter, Bredis in the semi, and Murat Gassiev in the final. Then he fought Belland, of course. That was still at cruiserweight. Now 1, 2, 3. He's had 3 fights at heavy. This will be the 4th coming up. And potentially 5th fight at heavyweight. I mean, it's crazy how good this dude is. People just don't seem to realise it because he doesn't speak a lot of English. It's a pity he doesn't, because he's got a hell of a personality too. I think if he worked on a little bit more English, he can speak a bit of it. Alexander Usyk could be a fan favourite. He's funny as fuck, man. He is funny as. He's not the kind of guy that you want to hate. You can't help but love the dude. He's funny as. Anyways, I think that's probably about us for today. I'll probably drop a couple of videos later on through the week about what's coming up next weekend. It doesn't look like we're getting this Jake Paul win. Hasim Rahman fiasco, so I'll be looking forward to the Virgil Ortiz and Michael McKinson fight. I know that one's happening, but I'll look further into the schedule later on in the weekend, drop some info for y'all. So, I hope y'all have enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future content so you don't miss shit that I drop. And that's us. Catch y'all next time. Peace. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family.
So that's us for today. I hope you have enjoyed. You can show your appreciation with a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Be sure to check out our Discord community where you can find boxing news, fight links, live streamed fights, and much more. So look after yourself and your family. I'm Jono from Big Boys Boxing, and I'm out. See you!